The pressure in the game you get out of it, what you put into it. It's like a walk of life. If you're good enough, go out and get it, no more about it.
But not so much control in the centre of the field from Kilkenny as Richie Bennett sends it high and over the bar.
Your mother sends you down to the shop for a pound's worth of goods and she gives you 50 pence. You can't get the pound's worth of goods, can you?
Just about kept in. Oh, well done, Shawnee Buckley. To do that to Tomas O'Shea, he deserves to score from here. One of the highlights of the Sunday game.
Limerick went out there from the word go today. No more about it. They made all the running, that was it. Put the ball over the bar and the back of it, and that's it. No ifs, no buts.
Is there much time left? We have a couple of injuries. Here comes Kieran Carey. Carey leading the charge of the right brigade. 45 metres out. He's a chance to score. He's put it hard.
There's no sympathy in this game for anybody.
Hello, and you're very welcome to Treaty Talk. We're on episode 302. Tom Clancy as ever, and I'm delighted to say I'm joined as always by Matt O'Callaghan of the Weekly Observer and Vale Star newspapers. Matt is here to discuss all things Gaelic games across the county. We'll have plenty of hurling chat. We'll be looking forward to the football semi-finals, and we'll have all bits and pieces in between. We'll also be looking back, as we do right now, on the Limerick Camogie finals that were held last weekend, and we're delighted to say that we're joined by Mike Quaid, manager of the victorious Newcastle West team. Mike, how's life with you?
Yeah, all good, sure, yeah. Evening, lads.
Hello, Mike, how are you? Welcome on Treaty Talk.
Thanks, Matt, yeah, thank you, Tom.
I said victorious, back-to-back county champions. That's a nice old ring to it, I'm sure, having defeated a hand in Cappamore last Saturday. So, yeah, you must be on cloud nine back in West Limerick in Newcastle West.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, we're after. It's a great achievement. They're a phenomenal bunch of girls and from great panel, and we're after a couple of days of celebration now. So we're trying to come back down from that now. And look, we enjoyed the few days. It's important, as I said before, that you enjoy these moments because they don't. They're not long here and they're gone again.
Yeah, the game itself, 117 to 7 points. I don't think even in your wildest dreams on Friday night you would have envisaged such a margin. You managed, I suppose, to really curtail a hand. I know a hand had a lot of wides, but I suppose that'll show you the strength of your defence, and you managed to knock over a nice few scores on the day. So, it was a comprehensive enough victory from the reports I'm hearing from Matt and company. You were worthy winners, it's fair to say.
I'd say we were the winners. It probably look sometimes the scorelines, look county finals. They probably don't tell the true reflection of the game. The first 15-20 minutes were nip and tuck. And I think it was we went through a purple patch then where things went right for us for maybe 20-minute spell, and we built up a lead that this team or this panel would be very experienced. They'd know well how to close out a game when they have a lead like that.
Yeah, Matt, you were at the game.
Mike, I mentioned that you and your racing in at halftime that the 20 minutes of camogie before halftime was one of the best I ever saw from any camogie team. It was an absolute complete performance from about the 10th minute on.
We did a lot of good things, Matt. I suppose, you'd have to be happy with it. A lot of draw. I suppose first 15-20 minutes was a bit of shadow boxing. It was tit for tat. They were going at us, we were going at them, and I suppose we didn't really impose our game on them. But once our middle eight got on top, like anyone knows, once you can get on top of that middle third and have a platform then, and your platform then is from there, you're transitioning and your finishing then becomes a lot more efficient. So while you're trying to build from the back, it's a lot tougher going. When you're turning over ball, midfield, halfback, their halfback line, and we transitioned very quickly, very well. And look, our shooting accuracies our figures were very high for that 20 minutes anyway.
Yeah, you transitioned, Mike, to a full forward line that was absolutely on fire. Iris Kennelly, 4 points from play. Rebecca DeLee, 1-8, I think 1-5 from play, and Roisin Ambrose, 3 points from play, 115 from your full forward line. A phenomenal return.
Yeah, big return. Look, three really talented girls, three really talented players. all their own right. So like, look, that poses obviously issues for opposition. Which one do you mark up? And they work as they don't work as individuals. They work as an inside line. So we work hard on that. And obviously, look, we work hard on outside creating space so that we're giving good delivery of ball inside. Let quick and accurate, and let the girls do what they're good at. Then putting it over the bar and putting it back in net.
And what about the other end, Mike? I could be wrong in saying, but I think I'm right to say no goal conceded obviously this year in the final, no goal conceded last year either. Like, you know, championships, as I say, are built on defences, and I think you have a pretty mean one. It's fair to say.
Yeah, look, they're look, that back six, like, you'll go a long way to find a more a better back six in Camogie, like, to be honest. Look, there's youth, there's experience, there's pace, there's tenacity. They have everything really, like, and then when you put the two girls from midfield in front of them, then they drop it in, and then it's all anchored in with Aoife and goals. Like, she dictates in front of her, and she sets the tone, like, and no, look, yeah, we're very, very lucky, very, very lucky. Yeah.
Yeah, and the championship win itself, obviously, there's more than just the final. The lead up to it, he went. I think were you flawless in the group? Won your semi-final. You know, it's. I suppose you were, as you say, worthy winners of the championship as a whole, because you no hiccup really on the way. You beat everyone in your path, having come out of, I suppose, what people have regarded as the group of death as well.
Yeah, the championship. It started obviously very early in the year through the league. And we played the league for what it was. We would have been down a lot of players due to the commitments with the county in football and Camogie, both at minor and senior level. But we decided at the very, very outset this year that we needed to build a panel. And through the league, while it was a tough league for us and we had some tough defeats, I would still look back and say it was a very fruitful league for us. Like, we really did build a panel. Younger girls there got games that maybe possibly they wouldn't get when you have a full panel around. We ended up in a relegation final in the league. Beat Rough in the night, and it kind of just took it from there on. To be honest, sure, we look one of the hardest things as a group, really, I suppose, is timing. Like, it's trying to time your run every year, like, and quite possibly, we identified that other years maybe the timings weren't right, and so hopefully this year we feel we're building all the time. We feel that each time we go out, we're better. I would have said that the county final display was probably our best so far this year. Like, so that's what you want, like, and hopefully there's a bit more to come out of it too, like.
Yeah, Matt.
Mike, I have to ask you, and I don't like speaking about individuals, but your midfield partnership, they're two dynamos. They were absolutely simply incredible. Your captain, Karen, was everywhere, and Debbie Murphy was her usual self. Absolutely an inspired choice to put the two of them together.
Look here, I don't know about choice, and they match lots of these things pick themselves. They're two phenomenal athletes who, in the bargain, then are very, very good at Camogie, and two great individuals as well. Two great people to have in the panel, two great people for the younger players to look up to. Their work rate, their ethic, how they look after themselves in terms of fitness, and how they practice their skills. But look, that vein runs through the whole panel as well, Matt. To be honest, that's an ethos that they all live by. We don't really, as someone said to me one day, how did you end up being the manager of the senior Camogie team? I said, I have a key to the gate. So that's all I have to do is really open the gate and let them in, and they do it themselves. Yeah.
Mike, what about Kate Foley? I always associated her with being a player further out around the middle third down the field. She's knitted in beautifully at cornerback.
Yeah, Kate, look, you could play Kate in goals. Kate's a team player. Comes from a great background of people that are steeped in GA. But Kate, Kate, one of the first teams that I got involved with Newcastle West was Kate when she was under 14. And I was brought in by my sister-in-law, Katie, who they were looking for someone maybe to come in and give a bit of a hand with a team that try, ourselves now, teams that mightn't be winning something, it's kind of hard enough to get someone to help along. But I came in, that's where I came in first, was when Kate was under 14, and you could see at that stage she's a special talent. Like, you put her anywhere.
Yeah, and as well, Mike, I suppose people say success breeds success. I mean, will there be a legacy of the recent years? I know that this is obviously back to back, but there was obviously other titles in more recent years as well. Do you think there'll be a legacy for camogie? Are you seeing a lot of young girls interested in the sport? Maybe that, maybe historically they mightn't have got involved, but now there's is there an oversubscription for the facilities that are in Newcastle West? People want to get their daughters down playing camogie. They want to get involved because they see maybe the flagship team as it is really flying the flag for the town.
Yeah, look, I'm the coach of development officer for the club as well. Like, so I kind of see it from every age group. I'm just trying to get home now in time for under-8 training. We're finishing up at the weekend. Matt has often seen me. I have 2 small girls that Shadow 1 and Shadow 2 they call them, but they go match and but I think that's important that they see that. But like, you can have a team that can be very, very successful, but how they transition that into success for a club is a totally different thing. But the way these girls conduct themselves in camogie and in football and everything else is unbelievable. As I say, then you get younger girls. Then like a lot of them met with the following morning. Our under 14 Shannon team won the county title. So and a lot of the girls met up with them and did the cup and the shield together. Like, and so that's their photographs and memories that both the kids and their parents will treasure for a long time. Like, but yeah, we've you keep building, you keep going. Like, but look, camogie's on a high. It's on a crest of a wave at the moment. I was talking to lads inside Newell there during the week, and they're talking that they have over 160 girls for camogie in Newell this year. Like, that's them numbers were never ever seen. Like, they've 4 teams and they still don't have enough room for all the girls that want to play camogie inside there. So they'll tell you. So that's college age. It's the age where we all really need to make sure they are still playing camogie. Getting to that age group. Like, and when you hear them numbers, you think things are in a good place. Like,
yeah, and there's another chance, I suppose, to inspire and to maybe pass on to the next generation. Obviously, a Munster Club campaign. You hope it's a campaign and not just one day out, but a home draw, a plum draw against whoever comes out on the Waterford side of things. So, there's a chance there to get everyone out in the Magpie colours and hopefully roar the girls on to a Munster final. That's a Munster semi-final coming up. Like, so, like, that's a byproduct, obviously, of winning the county, but like, it's something that's the players you'd hope will grasp with both hands now as well, that it's there in front of them.
Yeah, look as a club we will. Like, they're special days. Like, back in my Drumbraffer days, like, they're Munster Club days are days you will never forget the rest of your life. Like, so and I look, these girls have tasted a few Munster days already. Haven't been successful, but this is the first time they've got a chance at home. And Munster Club at home, like, is special. And yeah, we'll be doing everything over the next few weeks. We're back training now Friday night, and we have our plans in place. So yeah, we'll be doing everything to be ready anyway, Joe. You always wonder, like, Joe, where you sit in terms of are you at that level? Like, so we'll find out now in 3 weeks' time, I guess. Yeah.
Mike, just on the Munster Championship thing, talking to a few of the girls just informally after the game last Sunday, I think there's a bit of residual hurt at the manner in which they went out at the semi-final last year against Sarsfields.
Yeah, I did. No doubt there is. I haven't met the girls since Sunday now in terms of in a coaching aspect yet. Like, so met them elsewhere, right? But we weren't doing a whole pile talking about camogie. We were trying not to anyway. But we. We haven't spoken to it, and that's being honest about it. We haven't spoken about Munster Championship up to the county title, because we have obviously huge respect for the clubs within Limerick, like, so we knew that was stage one. But look, yes, I was there. I mean, I would have missed very few their matches over the last few years. I was there against Sarsfields last year. There would have to be hurt after, like, losing that narrow margin, and SARS then to go on and win the Munster title after, like, that we'll have to do, which, look, hopefully we can use to our advantage. Like, yeah.
Mike, I just want to ask you about juggling girls' commitment with camogie and ladies football. Normally, it would be manager to manager, but in your case, it's manager to 3 managers because you have to deal with managers in Mona Gay, Old Mill, and Fiona Castlemahan. How did that all pan out?
No better, really, to answer. I was about to find out. But, to be honest, the girls manage that themselves. Like there isn't a whole pile that like all you have to do, to be honest, is be consistent. So we have our nights of training, we stick to them, and you don't move. Doesn't, even though sometimes you'd like to move around bits and pieces, you can't within that framework. And so you've got to be respectful of what everyone else is trying to achieve as well. So football weeks were football weeks, and that was it. And then say our camogie weeks, then we use them for what they were. And then you just need to know that your time with the girls isn't as often maybe as you would like. So when you're out together, you've got to get the absolute best out of it. But look, there's been never so far. Look, this is my first year with seniors, Matt. But I had no issues whatsoever with any of them. But as I say, the girls managed it themselves. To be honest,
Yeah, very good. They say a rising tide will lift all boats. Obviously, the camogie now have done their piece of the pie, or piece of the puzzle, I should say. The hurlers in Newcastle West into a final, and now the footballers this weekend in a semi-final. So have you put the pressure on the males to deliver something as well, because you brought home the silverware?
There might have been a few digs, all right, yeah, in the pub over the weekend, but look, yeah, it's a great buzz. Jeez, there's a great buzz around at the moment. Like anyone you meet now, that's all they want to talk about. Either talk about GA or talk about camogie or whatever. They don't know which one they want to talk to you about first. No, it's great. It's brilliant, and great to see there. You're going into nearly November, and you still have 3 adult teams in the club, looking to train above in the field and looking for lights and looking for different things, which is brilliant. But look, they're a fantastic GA club. They're brilliant to us. Couldn't ask for more. Give us the facilities whenever they physically can. You can't split it into 10. So they do what they can for us as a camogie club. We're very lucky, and hopefully, I wish them all the very, very best, and hopefully they can try. If they can pull it off, it'll be some achievement.
Yeah, it sure will. Yeah, Premier Intermediate final to come, and as I said, football semi-final, and our hunt for 4 in a row to come this weekend. Matt, I think we've covered plenty there.
I just want to ask him. I just want to ask Mike one final question from me anyway, and it's this. This year was a very special year for Limerick Camogie, as you know. You and I met above in Kilkenny on a very memorable day for it. Now, 3 of those players happened to be on your panel, and you gave cameo appearances to 2 last Sunday, last Saturday, Maya Smith and Hazel Horgan. Future very, very bright for Newcastle West. Very, very strong panel to be able to introduce players like that from the bench going into the Munster Championship.
Yeah. Look, 3 very talented girls that obviously won their All-Ireland and Munster titles with Limerick. So we to be honest with Matt, they played a bit of the league with us, but we left them alone to play their own championship this year, the under-16 championship. We were cognizant that they're under 16, and they only get 1 chances, and they took that chance. So they won. Obviously, they won the county under 16A as well this year, beating the Pearshig in an absolutely brilliant final, blowing McNeville. We're I think everyone talks about it. We're building a panel, and we've girls older than them as well. Then last year's minor team, we won the county as well last year. The minors beating Monleen in the final. You've likes of Kate Foley, Lily Duggan, Ava Collins. There's girls. No, look, we're blessed. We're lucky. And as I said, our under 14s won the county on Sunday morning. And we won Fela last year. So it's look, they're competing in I suppose, Matt, is all the time, which is very good. That's even if you're not winning it, if you can compete at A and keep girls coming through, playing at a high level. The future looks good then.
Very good. Yeah, Mike, thanks very much for your time. I know you've scuttled along off to under-8 training, very important, of course, to building blocks of the future, and obviously to round out the season with them. So we're wishing you the very best for the Munster club, and maybe you never know beyond. So thanks very much, Mike, for your time.
Thanks very much, Mike.
We'll talk to you again soon. Yeah, thanks, guys.
Long before. Right, thanks a million to Mike Quaid for joining us. Matt,
he's done a fantastic job out there, and there's something about that panel that I think we're going to be talking about him for a while, Tom. You know, I'm pretty hopeful that we will. You see, they went down to Sarsfields last year and just lost by a single point. When the referee played 32 seconds of extra time, however he came with that, I don't know, but he did. But there was considerable more extra time, and who knows? The momentum was with Newcastle West. They were after getting a goal, you know, and they were without Debbie Murphy anyway, but they were without Rebecca DeLee, you know. So or was it Roisin Ambrose? They were without two key. Roisin Ambrose. They were without two key players, you know. And you know, to come so near knocking out the Cork champions, like, and I'd be very hopeful for him. As I said, the 20 minutes, as I said to Mike there, and I said it to him at halftime as we were walking off, that the 20 minutes before halftime was as good as camogie as I've ever seen. It was played at such pace, and you know, and he was talking there about the transition of the ball from the defence into the attack. Oh God, it was first class, you know, and the three inside forwards, they were really on fire, you know. Iris Kennelly was on fire, and then Rebecca DeLee burst into the game. I think she got in that spell, I think she got 1-5 or 1-6. She got a cracking goal, raced in she raced in from 40 metres before sticking it in the net, you know. Yeah. And look, it was a fantastic day for Newcastle West camogie, and a very, like, you know, they showcased all what was best about Limerick camogie, because Ahan were struggling from the start, and they you know, you had the three Mulcahy sisters. They battled bravely. Anya Reynolds battled bravely, and Kennedy, but you know, it was like a tornado coming, you know. Look, they were Newcastle West were a tour de force. They were an unstoppable force. You know, they came out with that intention. Even though I will accept that they had a slow start, you know, but that you know, that can happen. But we had the Premier final as well, Tom. Sorry, not the Premier, but the intermediate final. You know, and congratulations must go to Grove Kilfinney. On it was their third final appearance in a row, and having lost the two previous ones to Adair and to Monaleen, they were absolutely determined that they were not going to be struck three times, and they were too good for Grana Ballingarry. I think Grana Ballingarry only scored 1 point from play. Grana Ballingarry had the aid of what was a stiffish breeze in the first half, and but it was Crow Kilfinney who led by a point at half time, and so the writing was sort of on the wall at half time, and the goal, you know, was an absolutely fantastic individual effort from Donna Kenny, you know, who was an absolute fire. She scored 1-7 of their total of 1-9. 7 points came from frees, but they were from difficult angles. There was no gimmies. And she seemed to be able to put them over with and against the breeze, you know, which is testament. Of course, Donna, we know about her. You know, she scored a goal also in last year's final against Monaleen. And she's been the Limerick minor captain this year. You know, an extremely good player. I think I have mentioned her name previously here on this. On this cast as one to look out for. And you know, I'm totally convinced, you know, that she will be she'll be transitioning first to senior camogie with her club next year. For the first time, they're up now for the first time since 2014. It's 2013 the last time they won it, and I've no doubt she'll be transitioning to senior into county camogie as well. She is a very, very good player. Now, also at the weekend we had the senior B final. It's called the Plate. Newcastle West won the cup, and to go with it, Adair won the Plate. They beat Killeedy in Temple Planton, a goal and 6 points to 6 points. Again, it was a game that was dictated to a certain degree by the wind, which Killeedy had in the first half, and Adair came good in the second half. So you're looking at the weekend, Newcastle West and Adair met in the first round. Newcastle West won by something like 18 or 19 points. And here we were last weekend, both of them picking up the cup and the plate. So it will tell you that a first round is only a first round. And now the side to be relegated has not been determined yet, as the relegation final between Crocora and Monaleen ended in a draw. Monaleen won 12, Crocora 3-6. So that'll be an issue for another day.
Yeah, more suspense there. And just as well, Cappamore won the intermediate.
They won the intermediate plate. And Maru Bohar now will play off with Galway in the relegation final.
Yeah, just to see who stays in the grade. Yeah, so that was the byproduct of only having 7 teams. That there was one of the 3 will go down, one of them will get silverware, and the other one will land in the middle. So we'll see how that one plays out. And
now we're also down to the finals of the ladies junior football, and there are 4 junior finals, and they're not on this weekend, but I've just put it out there. They're on the following week and over Saturday and Sunday. Well, there's 3 of them definitely on, and there's an element of doubt about the 4th. In the Junior A final, it's 2 clubs like who will be new to silverware. Monaleen and Palace Green will be meeting in the A final. The B final has pitted Galtee Gales against Mungret St. Paul's. The B final or the C final sees Knockane.
Sorry, Matt, you were saying the A final is between?
The A final is between 2 sides who have done an awful lot of work over the last couple of years in promoting ladies football within their clubs, Palace Green and Monaleen, and now one of them will be playing intermediate ladies football next year. In the B final, it pits Galtee Gales, who unfortunately were relegated from Senior last 2 weeks ago, and Mungret St. Paul's, who will be looking to do an intermediate and a Junior B double. And the C final is between Ula, who will be looking for consolation after losing the B final to Drum Bradford, and Knockane, who will be looking for consolation also after losing the intermediate final to Mungret St. Paul's. Now, the novice final, that I haven't a definite fixture yet, but it is between Drum Bradford and Old Mill.
Very good. Yeah. So second teams there as well. So what I'm seeing is a trend of teams with clubs with 2 teams coming to the fore in the lower grades, because I suppose strength in numbers playing into their hands there. So yeah, that's very good, very well rounded up, Matt. I think we'll move now to hurling, if that's okay. I think we've covered plenty there across camogie and ladies football. And thanks again to Mike for joining us. Hurling. Senior hurling, Matt, is where we should naturally start. We now know the final pairing. It is Doon, who will be aiming for their first Daily Cup, against the Piercig, who are aiming for 3 in a row. So the final that maybe a few would have called at the outset, not you and I, because we had Patrick Swell and Kilmallock as champions respectively. But the Piercig and Doon, I'm going to say this is going to be a mouth-watering clash in the Gaelic grounds on the 27th of October.
I agree totally with you. I was privileged, I must say, to see both semi-finals at the weekend.
Yeah.
And they were cracking semi-finals. You saw both of them as well, Tom.
You were privileged to be alongside me. Is that what you're saying?
Well, a bit of that too, Tom. But I wouldn't like to overstate that aspect of it.
Yeah, my head won't fit through the door. But yeah, no, in fairness, joking aside, 2 great games of hurling.
2 great games of hurling.
No shortage of drama.
In the first 20 minutes was absolutely memorable. 15 points to 2 up. All the scores were of excellent quality. Like it was a day when the big men really stood up and led the way. Darrow Donovan was immense at midfield. He's your captain. And a moment that stuck out for me was at one stage they were 13 points down, and Patrick Swell had staged a mini revival coming up to half-time and had reduced the margin to 6 points. Darrow Donovan lines up to a line ball about 50, possibly 60 meters out, and bisects the post with it. And this is your captain. And what? They were 6 points up. but they were under the cosh a bit, you know, and they needed to lift the siege. And here is your leader. This is what he does, you know. But, you know, Adam English, what can we say? What can we say about him that we haven't said before? Like, this guy is simply mercurial.
Top class, in fairness to him.
Absolutely mercurial. And another pleasing aspect, what I was delighted about last Sunday, was the performance of Richie English.
Yeah.
And not just
Milan,
I ever doubted a performance in Richie English, not for 1 minute, but to see him back to full fitness and doing what he enjoys most. And he embellished a great performance by landing 3 great points. You know, and that you know, and like, but if you look at the entirety of the Doon team, you know, we spoke about the leaders, but every man in a red jersey was fired up to the last Sunday. You know, there was no way Doon, in my opinion, from what I saw right through the 60 minutes last Sunday, it was power hurling at times. That there was no way they were leaving Kilmallock without being in the county final.
Yeah.
No, they suffered that dip coming up to half time. I know, you know, but you know, they were well able to recover from it. And look, you know, they got 2 late goals from Kevin Maher. And, you know, I heard people saying, sure, the game was over at that stage. But like the way they were created, you know, the lead up and the execution from Kevin Maher was excellent, but the build up was excellent as well. It was a real team build up for both of them.
Yeah. I don't think the game was quite over when he got the first one. I think there was still only 4 or 5 points in it. So
that's all. You get all these narratives, you know, as Darrow Donovan told me in no uncertain terms when we hear talking about the big 4. He said, "There's no big 4, there's only big 3. We haven't won that county yet."
Laying it down, of course, yeah. But
he laid it down for me,
yeah, they've been in semi-finals in every season since 2016, I think. So 2017 onwards, they've been in all the semi-finals, and this is their 3rd final now as a group as well.
Yeah, he has a point, actually. He has a point when you reflect on it. You know, he definitely has a point. But I suppose where we're coming from and calling him a big 4 is that they're always in the last 4.
Yeah. And no one else has beaten them in that time other than the other teams. You know, haven't lost to anyone else bar Patrick Swell, Kilmallock, and the Piercy. A word for Patrick Swell, Matt. Not the most vintage championship, a real struggle at times.
Not the most vintage championship. They had a player sent off, you know, after half time. I thought we saw. I think we saw White Keendinch and Dermot Burns were named hurlers of the year at that stage. They really took the game by the scruff of the neck.
Especially Burns.
There was no question of Patrick Swell laying down arms. Which you would, and that's what you'd expect from Patrick Swell. And those 2 in particular, I think they led the charge. But numerical strength at the end of the day, it counted. And like I suppose from the sending off, Tom, even though there might be only, I think it came down to 4 points, or did it come down to 3 at one stage?
4, I think, was as close as it got. Yeah, from memory anyway. Yeah.
I don't think there was any real danger to do not advancing.
No. Yeah. Well, there was one, probably a 90-second period where Patrick Swell hit 3 wides. Maybe it was closer to 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I think Dermot Burns hit a wide. Can't remember who the other 2 were, but they were from long range. I think maybe Evan Fitzgerald had one of them as well. And you kind of, that just, you know, that sucked the life out of the momentum they had.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think Doon got the next score then to push it back out to 5, maybe, you know. So potentially maybe a 1 or 2 point game, it was suddenly 5, and you know they had a lot to do from there.
The intensity of the exchanges in the first half was simply phenomenal.
Yeah,
you and I and John Keogh were saying, like, this cannot continue. You know, players
in a way it didn't. Yeah,
couldn't sustain that for 60 minutes. You know, and in a way it didn't. You know, the intensity petered out.
Yeah.
Which was only to be expected. But like the exchanges were ferocious, actually, in the first half.
they were no, and Doon brought everything to the table, and
Absolutely everything. Yeah.
to get 15 points in 20 minutes is some shooting, like, and there a couple of misses in there as well, but 15 points.
But think of it, in the first minute, in the 33rd second, you timed it. I think after 6 seconds, you'd Adam English, and the 33rd second, you had Jason Gillan making a spectacular save from Darrow Donovan.
Yeah, exactly. What a start that would have been.
Save,
Yeah, no, great save. Just we'll move to the other one now, but I suppose, Doon probably they expected to come through that, but maybe the margin, as we predicted last week, we thought would be a bit tighter. But in fairness, they tacked on the late scores to pull clear. The other one, we made the dash. I went from Charleville to Rourke's Cross in the cross. I think you went Borey and Rourke's Cross.
Oh, Lord, Tom, you were
Matt.
wise. Pity we didn't discuss it. And John Reddington also went the same way. And sure, it was when I got caught in the tailback. I was 25 minutes at Rourke's Cross. You had the Patrick's Well fans going home, and you had the Kilmallock fans heading for McNeville Park.
Yeah, and you had neutrals as well going between the two.
You had an endless stream of traffic going from Charleville towards Limerick. Or a seemingly endless stream of traffic.
And I was among it, yeah.
Yeah.
But we got there anyway, and in the end,
no doubt, Tom, I was saying prayers, but they weren't up.
Yeah. But now, when we did get there, we got to see a great game. Very tense and fair. Kilmallock will have nightmares, I think, about how this one played out for them in the end. They were very much the better team for long periods, but right when they came to the crunch, things did not go well for them, and they ultimately lost out by a point.
Absolutely, and if you're to take a lesson out of it, Tom, I suppose champions are champions for a reason, and the Piercing in particular are champions for a reason. And if you slightly open the door, which Kilmallock did, they will make hay. And Kilmallock were 5 points up with 48 minutes gone, and 4 minutes later they were a point behind. Piercy could put over a goal and 3 points just like that, or put in a goal and put over 3 points.
Yeah,
and that was the defining period of the game. Now the goal was a fortuitous goal, and as Ronan Lynch admitted to you and I afterwards, he didn't put any doubt in it that it was lucky and that he didn't strike it. With the same conviction that he would normally strike him. And he reckoned that was probably what deceived Barry Hennessy. Barry was probably expecting a bullet of a shot.
Yeah. And because Barry has saved in the last couple of weeks, he saved a couple of bullets against Ballybrown. I think he saved one early in the game. Yeah, he did. I was going to say in the first half, wasn't it? Yeah. I mean, it was everyone. You could nearly feel the intake of breath from everyone in the stand. I think the Piercing supporters were even aghast. It was, look, it's one of those things that happens. And I heard someone, I think it was Anthony Daly, saying, that on his own podcast during the week, like that every goalkeeper has had one of them. Every outfield player has had a moment like that where, you want the ground to swallow you up. You don't want anyone to be there watching it. But unfortunately,
my hat goes out to Barry because he, as you rightly say, he's made such a contribution as a goalkeeper, and he was probably, anticipating that, that it was going to be a powerful shot. Yeah.
And then just it deceived him, and it really did turn the tide because, as you say, next couple of points I think was Will Hen and was this who got the next point? Was Ronan Lynch maybe tied it up, and then they went and they snuck ahead. Wayne Kearns, and they snuck ahead then, and it was kind of tit for tat down the stretch. But
and then Kilmallock, they came back to lead with what an inspirational point by Robbie Handley, who was absolutely outstanding at wing back.
Yeah. Jeez,
and you said
like
yourself,
the most natural wing back you'd ever see.
2 minutes of regulation, time to go. Kilmallock up back in the driving seat. Ronan Lynch comes up, he hits 2 frees. It's the Piercing. Oisin O'Reilly levels it, and you were saying to yourself, gosh, extra time is inevitable. But in what you could only call a scrum of players, how Willem Hinn emerged from it and had the space to tap it over the bar right there at the net. Now, Kilmallock got a couple of chances where they should have got a couple of points maybe, or maybe got a goal even, but didn't take them. And against the Piercing, you've got to maximise every opportunity that comes your way, Tom.
Yeah, you must
It's
certainly
it's
do.
just
Yeah,
it's just as simple as that. They've been around so long, and you had Ronan Lynch also saying like we're just happy to keep there, win a few frees, keep the scoreboard ticking over, and waiting for that opportunity, waiting on the long grass, and that's what
yeah,
they did.
that's what they did. Yeah, even in the first half, they were only 4 down at half time, and you kind of, if you weren't keeping a close eye on the score, you'd have felt Kilmallock were a little bit further ahead, you know. But as Ronan said, they tacked on a couple of frees here and a point there and a free there, you know. Just kept their interest in it, never got too far behind.
No.
And of course, the minute they went 5 down, they got the goal and you know, wrestled back control. But yeah, tremendous champions, I think it's fair to say, in the Pearse League. And just despite playing without David Dempsey, who, in my opinion, is probably one of the best forwards in club hurling in Limerick for the last decade. Or I don't think it's even my opinion, it's everyone's opinion. He's one of the best around.
I totally agree with you. Totally underrated hurler altogether. Absolutely.
Yeah. Big miss. If he's back from the final, I think that could transform their attacking unit. You know, didn't fully fire. Adrian Breen played a half. He came on just after half time, got a score straight away, and like the two of them have really delivered in the past in finals, semi-finals, and finals for.
It's not just Dahi Dempsey's scoring. It's the way he brings other players into it, and you know, to me, he's a complete player, like and complete team player, and will we see Peter Casey in the final?
Yeah, I don't think so. I saw him poking around before, and look, if he was number 27 on the program, I don't see it. It's 2 weeks now. Could do him a favor, but it seems to me, you know, that he would have at least had the boots on the other day, and he didn't. But look, we'll wait and see on that one. It would be great to see Peter back in some capacity for the Pearse League. Before we just move on from the final, we'll preview it more depth next week. The last time they met in the final, Matt, 2020, there was 27 points in it. Now, I'm going to wager that there will be nowhere near that this time. It'll be much tighter. The Pearse League ran away with that 527 to.
I wouldn't give you even the hint of a kudu for coming up with that conclusion.
Yeah. No, it'll be a little bit tighter than that.
You know, if you're looking for a pat in the back from me for saying that, Tom, you're in the wrong shop.
Yeah. Well, it was record-breaking stuff at that time. I think Doon will hope that that is all in the rearview mirror, and they can, as we say, annex their first title. But in the Pearse League,
all that is built up inside and Doon at this stage.
Yeah.
You know, and
it's nearly 4 years to go. Yeah,
there is, you know, there's something about him this year, I think, that's totally different, and you know, I've said it here, and it's make apologies to nobody that they will be if they win the championship, they'll be hugely popular champions around the county.
Yeah. I think
not any disrespect to the Pearse League, but you know, the public at large, they love romance and the bit of romance of a team winning for the first time.
Yeah. And then after that, then no one will want them to ever win again, but they let them have one.
Oh yeah, that like, you know, the wave of emotion that came in behind Limerick when we won in 2018, you know, and when we were heading for a 5 in a row in 2024, you know,
eyes are sharpening. Yeah,
they were hoping they couldn't wait to see the back of us, you know. But that's the, you know, that's sport. You know,
it is. Yeah. Before we discuss the Premier Intermediate, just to look briefly down through the grades, the intermediate final will see Croke Kilfinney against Brewery. Brewery, perhaps surprise winners over Marubor, and Croke Kilfinney. Croke Kilfinney, I'm trying to think who they defeated. Oh, sorry, Fiohanna. It run away, I think, 8 or 9 points in the end, comfortable winners. Beneath that, we have the Junior A, Fina Kilmeady versus St. Patrick's. So a West Side against St. City. Fina really one of the wins of the weekend, 20-point winners over Knockaderry, and St. Pat's getting the job done against Kilteely Drumkeen. In the Junior A, which I suppose kind of the new grade, as it were, well, it's Premier Junior A is the new grade, but the Junior A, Monaleen looking for back-to-back county titles, having won the Junior B last season. They'll face Rathkeale, who won on the infamous penalties in their semi-final over the weekend. So Monaleen beat Patrickswell, and Rathkeale, remind me, Matt, got the better of, who did they beat on penalties? I'm trying to recap.
Castletown Ballygran.
Castletown Ballygran. Excuse me, that's who that was, yeah. And just for the Junior B,
Oh, we're not down to the semi-finals of the junior B at all.
No, just saying a hand, Ballybrown, Killeen Palace, Kenry, South Liberties, and Grana Ballingarry are still in the mix. Excuse me. So, Premier Intermediate, now that was one.
I just want to say something about that. I got the fixture list there just a while ago, confirmation of the fixture list, and we've been criticising the county board all year, and now I'm going to give them a kudo. All 5 county finals are on between Saturday and Sunday. Monaleen will face Strathkeil and Bruff on the Saturday at
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Then at 3 o'clock in McNeville Park, we have Fina, Kilmeady and St. Patrick's, followed at 5 bit of the intermediate final between Brewery and Croke Kilfinney. We move on to the following day when we see it's a 2 o'clock start for the Premier Intermediate final in TUS Gaelic grounds between Newcastle West and Garrispalan. And I think it's a 4:15 start for the final, Tom, between June and the Pearship.
Yeah, and the 4:15, I'm fairly certain is because it's on TG Car. So yeah, I've plethora of finals.
It's an absolute feast of hurling. And if you remember, we had something similar last year, Tom, but we had only 4 finals because, as you said, that there's an extra tier in this year.
Yeah.
And like we unfortunately the worst final was the senior final.
Yeah, the most underwhelming, as it were.
We had that dramatic final between Drummond at Lack and Blackrock. We had that dramatic final also between Grana Ballingarry and Croke Kilfinney. And then, sure, look, where could you leave Fina, Kilmeady and Mungret St. Paul's? Couldn't be decided after extra time, eventually decided 4-1 in penalties.
Yeah. So we're expecting another weekend like that, I'm sure, coming up in 10 days' time. Just to touch on the Premier Intermediate, kind of mentioned it with Mike earlier. We've touched on it there. Newcastle West heading to their first ever final at the grade against
Garrispalan.
Garrispalan. Yeah, the Bouncers got the better of Bruff on Saturday. There was a double header in Kilmallock. No, you couldn't be omnipresent, Matt. So you were at the Camogie. I was at these 2 games. Newcastle West always held a bit of an advantage. Always kind of 2, 3, 4 points up, and Paddy O'Donovan. Now I wish I had the goal to hand. I might get a hold of it in a second if I can share it with viewers. But a goal for the ages, Matt, as you would say, one of the best goals I think I've ever seen on a hurling field in the flesh, or indeed on TV. The ball was hand passed by Tommy Quaid with his back to goal. He swiveled his shoulders, swiveled his hips, whatever you want to put it, volleyed the ball in from 20 metres into the top corner. Mike Quilligan in the Newcastle West goal was a bit like the rest of us. He could not move. He looked at the ball nestling in the top corner, and goal and a half. But crucially, Newcastle West replied with a goal of their own immediately after and kept the buffer at half-time. And they got their second goal early in the second half. And again, when Effin came back with a goal of their own, Newcastle West immediately responded with a third green flag and pushing them out as winners on the day. So the 3 Bryans scored the goals: Brian Nix, Brian Hurley, and Brian, who's the third Brian? I'm Brian Foley. Yeah, they're the 3 Bryans. Life of Brian was my headline on the Sporting Limerick website. So the 3 Bryans getting the majors on the day. The second game, Bruff, a little bit underperforming without Sean Finn, it must be said. A bit of a caveat there. Beaten by 3 in the end. Now it was 6 right down the stretch, and a late goal from Owen Meany, I think it was, direct from a free. The last puck of the game cut the gap to 3, but the Bouncers, in fairness to them, worthy winners. Hugh Flanagan's goal in the first half really setting them up for the win there. So South versus West, we have City versus East. So the county final day will see all 4 divisions, or the traditional divisions, represented. We'll say between the senior and Premier Intermediate, and a very fascinating final, Matt, between the Bouncers and the Magpies.
Absolutely, and I suppose it's a one that we have seen as being a distinct possibility if they didn't meet in the semi-final, as being a possible final from about 3 rounds back, even though Newcastle West's form was excellent all through, like 6 straight wins, and just missed out on a record 7 straight wins. Garrispalan had a bit of a dip in the middle, but recovered, and it's going to be a fascinating final, Tom. And of course, obviously, we'll be looking at it in greater depth next year or next week even. But just mention of Hugh Flanagan there. Hugh Flanagan, he scored 6 points today for John the Baptist College. They beat Rice College 420 to 20 points in the Hartley Cup. Of other interest, CBC from Cork beat Scultraned Doon 19 points to 9. And Ardscoil Reach had a comfortable win over Castletroy College. The score escapes me at the moment, but it's something like 225 to 212 or something in that region.
225 to 216, I think it was in the end. Yeah, they pulled away in the second half. The North City School as opposed to the out in the east of the city. Yeah. So that's the hard
we spoke about in this podcast in the context of lighting up the championship with Monaghan Singers was on the Castletroy side.
Yeah. These guys we've been watching them since under 17. Seems like they've been around forever, some of these fellas, but they're only getting started. Matt, would you believe it? I have the Paddy O'Donovan goal for the viewers and for yourself to indulge in. So do enjoy this. It's 16 seconds of pure quality. Let's have a look. Now, what about that? Maybe I was blowing it up a bit too much, but I tell you,
no. Tom, I've been passive about it because nothing surprises me with Paddy Donovan.
Yeah. Oh, what a strike!
Nothing at all, because he to me he's just magic.
Yeah. I think it further, it reiterated our point of we really enjoyed the streaming, and you couldn't be there Saturday, and many others couldn't. Obviously, even Newcastle West couldn't be at both of these games with county final for one team and all the rest of it. So to have that platform of video footage now, and I think this is one of the backroom teams whose video this, but phenomenal to be able to see that and to be able to share that around and show people the skills of hurling in Limerick and the quality that we have. And this is Paddy now, who's been in and around the Limerick panel and currently not involved. And it'll show you the depth of talent we have in Limerick when you see a player able to do that, for his club. And the streaming point, I'd love if we were able to bring the games this year, but unfortunately it just hasn't come to pass. And we're missing out on moments like that.
The reason for it, Tom, is above our pay grade.
Absolutely, yeah. Look, we were willing and ready to go, but unfortunately, moments like that have slipped by. But thankfully, that one has been doing the rounds on social media this afternoon, so people have been able to catch a glimpse of Paddy O'Donovan's magic. Unfortunately, his season though with his club is over, and we'll come, as I said, to the big preview of those games next weekend. Now, Matt, we're at the semi-final stage across the grades in football, but before we do that, we must talk about the Munster team. I'm not sure if you're aware, Matt, of the Limerick involvement. It has been brought to my attention.
Yeah, I'm aware of the Jimmy Lee, of course, is among the management, yes. And I'm aware that Josh Ryan, Danny Neville, Sean O'Dea, and James Norton have been selected. And I'm waiting with bated breath to see what these new rules are going to be about. If I be selective, there are some of them that I really like, I have to say. So as far as I be concerned, the jury be out in another, I think 4 points for a goal, possibly good idea. 2 points from outside of 45, good idea. I think not passing back to the goalkeeper, a good idea. And I'm not being selective now, but I think there are things that will improve the game. Yeah. And what drives me mad, and as you know, seeing these goalkeepers coming up into the opposition half, and that started in the Sigerson Cup. Yeah. 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's become a phenomenon, all right.
And it wasn't UCC started this.
Yeah. I think Limerick can claim the goalkeepers coming up to take frees. I think Limerick started that going back.
Oh, I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
I have absolutely no problem. Limerick can claim that with Brian Scanlon.
Yeah. Brian Scanlon did it before Stephen Cluxton, as they say, and he led the way on that front. But it's look, I actually personally I have no issue with the goalkeeper coming out, being involved. This is just my own view, but the issue I would have is the slowing down of play. And we saw a lot of people saw that clip from Clare over the weekend where Ennis Diamond had the ball and there was basically 28 or 9 players in front of him, and the player decided not to do anything with it. At present, football doesn't reward risk taking. It doesn't reward a guy having a kick from 40 metres where the ball might go short or it might go into the opposition's hands. At the moment, it rewards teams who keep the ball, maybe eventually get a player open for a shot close to goal, or maybe win a free. It doesn't reward someone, the old style contest. It doesn't reward someone for being able to win their contests. And look, even the advanced mark now, where they're talking about the rule, I suppose, is effectively if you catch the ball inside the 20, you play on, you try and score your goal, and if you don't score a goal or a point, you come back and you take a free, basically. Which, it's trying to promote positive play, because one of the byproducts of the mark was people were catching the ball and stopping. They weren't going for goal. Even David Clifford caught some great marks in the last 3 years. And because of the fact it's basically a free from 15 or 18 or 20 metres out, decided not to take on the risk of going for goal. So look, we'll see if that pays a bit of dividends. But Friday, I think, isn't it these games, Friday and Saturday?
Yeah, as I say, as you know, Tom, I wouldn't be the greatest fan of those that inhabit the ivory tower in Jones's Road, but I would, I welcome. First of all, I welcome, that the Football Review Committee's report, and I was only being selective there, and I was being positive, I would have to say, but I just want to see it played out, and I think it's a fantastic idea. It's a fantastic idea to try it out with the provinces.
Yeah. It's a perfect way of reinvigorating that competition, isn't it?
Yeah. Is it going to be the resurrection of the Railway Cup? We weren't happy to call it the Railway Cup when we had it. We started calling it the Interprovincial. I remember 55,000 at a Railway Cup double final way back in the late 50s when I was a kid.
Right.
And it was a big thing to be selected for your province back in those days. The late Tom McGarry won 5 Munster and won 5 Railway Cup medals with Limerick. Like Christy Ring won 18 of them of Christy Ring of Cork won 18 of them with Munster.
Yeah.
That was the day when top players were being, but for some reason, it lost the public. It lost the public's appeal. It appealed to the public, and then you the worst thing that could have ever happened, that of course, was when players who couldn't get on their county team were
selected.
Had their arms twisted to turn out for their province. So when that started, you were on a very, very slippery slope. As regards reviving the competition, I do not know.
Yeah,
but it will be a boost to those that want to see that traditionalists like myself, that were the boost. I think Munster have picked a strong team. They picked a decent team, and it'll be very, very interesting to see it, whether it will boost the chances of the revival of the Railway Cup or interprovincial, if it is a better terminology. I do not know, but we wait with bated breath to see what transpires over the weekend, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely. I know it's sorry, it's just a small signal drop there on my end. Just the point being, with the last time the hurling was played, I can't remember the year, was it maybe 2016 or 17? There was an attendance of about 200 in Thurles for a game, and that put the end to the hurling side of it for now anyway. It's very hard to see where they fit into the calendar if you were to try and get the best players to play for them, because if you were to try and have the hurling one now in November, for example, the county champions of a lot of the Munster clubs would still be going and in Munster clubs, so they'd be pushed out. If you pushed it into January, then you'd have some young talents playing Fitzgibbon and stuff like that, and county teams trying to get back up and running. So it's difficult to find room for it. But
that's the point, Tom. Absolutely a good point, because in the hierarchy of the GAA and in its importance, it has dropped down the list. It has been overtaken by the Fitzgibbon Cup and the Sigerson Cups, in which, they have grown in stature. Basically for a long while, unfortunately, they were sideshows, but now they're very, very much part of the calendar. And some managers, whilst they'll be disappointed that the pre-season games are gone, some college managers will be delighted, I'm sure. Give them an opportunity. If Colm O'Rourke was around now, who was an arch critic of the timing of the colleges championships, they will get the opportunity. I don't know, Tom. It's very, very much like, the league to a certain degree has dropped off in appeal as well, Tom.
Yeah, but
there's no use in saying otherwise, and it's the second most important competition. And how anybody contrived to decide that we'd have a group of 7, I will never know.
Yeah, that makes absolutely no sense. Does it? Whatever about having 6 or 8, but 7, because you'll always have a team idle. It doesn't make any sense. But look, that's certainly for another day. The club football, I think, is certainly where we need to go next, Matt. We're down to the semi-final stages across the grades,
and we don't have no rules.
We don't have the new rules, so we're playing on the old style rules from earlier in 2024, as it were. Semi-finals: Newcastle West against Adair. The repeat of the last three finals, I should say. Newcastle West obviously aiming for 4 in a row, so Adair, their next obstacle, and Father Casey's against Mungard St. Paul's. So it'll be a breach of a long time for both those clubs to have appeared in a final. I think maybe 15 years for Father Casey's and over 20, I think, for Mungard St. Paul's. So look at
that. For Mungard St. Paul's.
Early. I was thinking that early 2001. Yeah. Big opportunity for either of those sides. We'll start with this one: Mungard St. Paul's and Father Casey's. It's difficult to know who you would lean with here on this one, isn't it?
Very, very interesting. What Paranan pointed this out to me way back during the concluding stages of the group stages, when they had made the semi-final, or it looked obviously, about the gap of 6 weeks from their last group game to the semi-final.
Yeah.
And a lot of it will come down as to how they fill that gap. I think how they kept fellas focused, how they kept fellas fresh. Now, they've done a fantastic job in the transition from intermediate to senior. And I've no doubt that their focus will be on keeping the players focused. Which is not easy, because they finished the last round, was it against St. Kieran's, wasn't it? And if you're a player and you say to yourself, Jesus, sure, we have no game for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Players love games. And it's probably one of the successes of the Munster Senior Hurling Championship in its present incarnation, is that you have games. So a lot will depend on how Mungard will fill that time. Now, there's no question at all about the quality and the ability of the Mungard team. They grew into the championship. They consolidated very, very early on, and just after consolidating, went to build on it, which is hugely important. And the fact that they won 5 out of 5, they didn't do it by accident, Tom. They did it because they were the best team in the group. Yeah. Now, but this is going to be their first taste of knockout senior football. And Father Casey's have been very, very impressive as well, Tom. Make no mistake about it. They won the league. They lost the first round of the championship to Newcastle West, but they recorded 4 straight wins after that.
Yeah.
And then had a big win in the quarterfinal
against the Piercing. Yeah. And they showed plenty that day. Yeah.
Yeah, and showed plenty that day. And we spoke about Doon there, and the build up. and the desire and the hunger to win a first title. It's a lifetime in Father Casey's to be 15 years without a title. And in 9 of the last 13 years, they have won the Premier Minor Football Championship.
Yeah.
I've said this a number of times. Where are all the footballers gone? Is now the time that they are going to transition. And it's a happy annual with us. We've been saying, are we waiting for Father Casey's to explode on the scene? And I think to a certain degree, we may not have to wait much longer.
Yeah. So actually, we're even longer. It is 2006 since they won it, 2009 since they got to the final. So, I mean,
since they got to the final, yeah.
A real famine.
You must remember that the quarter-final was a hump for a long time.
Yeah. They've won the last 3 of those.
And for the last 2 years, the semi-final has been a hump. So is this their year, third time lucky, get over? I have a hunch, not a hump. I have a hunch that Father Casey's will get over this one.
Okay, go on, call it. What's the margin of victory so here?
I think Father Casey's by 3.
Father Casey's by 3. Okay, well, I'm going Father Casey's by 5, and John has leaned with Father Casey's by 2. But I say that in a little bit of blindness. Mungers are the only team in the championship I haven't laid eyes on. So
I've seen him twice, and I'm hugely impressed with him.
And I was very impressed by Father Casey's last day. So that's where that's informing my opinion. But we're all leaning with Father Casey's. But
they're very, very, very well coached, very, very well focused, and very well disciplined. A very good side now, and playing nice football. But why I'm leaning for Father Casey's is because, first of all, Father Casey's have been very impressive.
Yeah.
Make no mistake about that. And secondly, there's the transition from intermediate to senior, and now you have the transition from group phase football to knockout football, and like that 6 weeks with Mungret St. Paul's would worry me.
Yeah,
it would worry me. Like if Mungret St. Paul's had played a quarter final 2 weeks ago, we may be looking at it differently, Tom.
We certainly should. There could be that's on Sunday. That's the second semi-final, Mungret St. Paul's and Father Casey's.
In Newcastle West at 3:30.
Yeah, 3:30 p.m. in Newcastle West. Timmy McGrath, Ula, takes charge of that one. The other game is on Saturday, 4 p.m. start in Sean Finn Park in Rathkeale, not McNeville Park, of course, Sean Finn, the home of Rathkeale GA. So Newcastle West against Adair. Now, I'd say there could be a huge crowd at this one. The repeat of the last 3 finals. The sides that have been, I suppose, collecting the Father Casey Cup, for each of the last, is it 8 iterations or something like that between them, is it? I think.
Yeah, Newcastle West are going for 5 and 6 years.
Yeah, they're going for 4 in a row. Going for, isn't it 5 and 6 years? So, how do you see this one, Matt? It's we saw Adair recently, Newcastle West, as they do, took the direct route. Adair had to take slightly more scenic route, but dispatched of Celtic Gales quite comprehensively in the end in the last round.
I actually have seen both of them in the last outings. I saw Newcastle West in the last outing when they played Ballysteen, and Ballysteen were in trouble at that stage. They had already been condemned to the relegation final playoff, and Father Casey's are Newcastle West, but we have this suspicion all the time with Newcastle West that they do what they have to do in the group stages and no more. But there's a little fly in the ointment this time, because there is a bit of a crossover between hurling and football, and there's going to be a split focus, and hurling wound up, we'll say, it's part of the business last Saturday, and all the focus obviously is going to be on football all this week. But they're facing their team that, were ravaged by injury at the start of the year, Tom. Absolutely ravaged.
Yeah. Looking a lot better now, though.
Looking an awful lot better now, and looking back at full strength. And I was hugely impressed. I've been very impressed by Hugh Burke since he came back, but I was hugely impressed by Robbie Burke's performance in what was his first start against Celtic Gales. I I thought he put in a huge performance in that monsoon that day in Kilmallock. A huge performance. And he gave more than a little glimpse, I think, of what an addition he's going to be to Adair. Adair must be fed up to the teeth of the sight of black and white jerseys at this stage. Like, if you lose 3 county finals, you say to yourself, what do we do with these people? If it was a final, Tom, I would be leaning very firmly towards Newcastle West.
Okay.
But it's a Newcastle West team without their spiritual leader, Ian Corbett.
Yeah.
And it'll make a very big difference. And I'm going for Adair to upset the odds this time by 2 points.
Yeah, I'm leaning with you. I think I've said Adair to win the championship as well. John has said Newcastle West by 2. You're saying Adair by 2, and I'm saying Adair by 1. And I would not be surprised if we need more than 60 minutes to settle this one. I've a feeling like the county final in 2022 when we went to extra time. I have a feeling we might need more than 60 to separate these two. Yeah. They know each other oh so well, of course, as we've alluded to there.
Winning is contagious, though, Tom. And you've seen the hurlers and you've seen the lads that are playing double, the like of Mike McMahon, the like of Mike Quilligan, the hurlers, who are all double jobbing, as it were, we'd say, are trying to juggle commitments to both hurling and football. And it's contagious winning.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And it is self-momenting, but I feel on a really big day, like you'll get by in group stages. And I just don't want to overstate this, but I don't think you can understate the importance of Ian Corbett to Newcastle West.
Yeah, no, it's a real big miss for them. Yeah, so Newcastle West, I suppose, made their own breakthrough.
Happily, he's good. I met him last Sunday. I was talking with him last Saturday, even for a while.
Inching back towards us, yeah.
But the semi-final would be out, but he's doing some light training and what have you, which is great to see.
Yeah, it certainly is, yeah. So Newcastle West winners in 15, 19, 21, 22, 23. And Adair winners in what years have we? 2017, 18, and 2020. So I think the only year in between, are we missing? We've Monaleen in 2016. Is that the only other one we're missing in that run? I think there's been no one else.
Landers 2014. I just remind you.
Yeah. Well, I was saying from 15 onwards, but no,
I'd say go back to 14, Tom.
Yeah. From 14 onwards, so Ballylanders, Monaleen, and these two have really dominated. And obviously, one of them will be marching behind the band. I'm pretty sure in McNeville Park for the final in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, there is a possibility that the final will be on a Wednesday night if Newcastle West are in the final.
Yeah.
Because Newcastle West will be down to play Cashel Kilcormac's in the Munster Club Championship on the 3rd, I think.
Yeah, well, it's dependent, of course, on a couple of things. Obviously, if Adair win, that will negate that entirely. But if Newcastle West win this Saturday, the county final will be, I suppose, be pushed out of its slot, which is the 3rd, as you say. But also, then of course,
it's 3rd, and it's going to be on the Wednesday night because there'll be in club action against the Clare champions, away to the Clare champions on the following weekend.
Yeah, the 9th to the 10th, yeah. But obviously it depends on Newcastle West winning the hurling as well. So there's 2 pieces of the jigsaw needed there.
There are 2 pieces. If Garris-Ballan win it, there will be no such problem. Well, there'll be no such problem involving Newcastle West, but Garris-Ballan winning, you've Galway as well, and I'd like to remind viewers and listeners that in 2018, Garris-Ballan and Galway did a hurling and football double.
Right, and they're still on course for the same.
And I think I'm subject to correction on this, but I'm 99 point something sure that Matt Quinlan played every minute of every game.
Okay, right. We'll come to
subsequent to that, Garrisplan went out to Clonea in the Munster Championship, the Waterford champions. And Galway went out to Fermoy in the football.
Okay. Yeah. Looking at that grade, I'll run through the fixtures and the other grades, but looking at the intermediate grade, Matt, the clashes this weekend, I'm just trying to find the fixtures here, of course.
Yeah, you've done Tullahar, Bradford and Galway.
Yeah.
You know, and Drum are heading for a third final in a row. Now, Drum were relegated in 2020. Galway were relegated in 2022. So there would have been players on both sides there who would have a taste of what senior football is all about. And of course, both sides are gunning to get back to the top table in Limerick football.
Yeah.
Now, Drum Bradford, as I said, have lost the last two finals. We saw them, you will recall the day in Askeaton last year when they lost to Mungret St. Paul's. Not a very pleasant day now, weather-wise.
Far from it.
Weather-wise. But the previous year they went down to the Piercing, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So they will be looking to get back to a third final. But I saw Galway this year. I saw them a couple of times, and I like an awful lot of what they're doing. Now, I haven't seen Drumculloch Bradford, so it doesn't put me in a position to make a definitive prediction about it. But Galway went out at the quarter-final stage last year by a point to Rathkeil.
Yeah.
So this is going to be one that could need extra time. No, there'll be very, very, very little in it. I was very impressed. I saw Galway in the quarter final with Gerald Griffins, and I was hugely impressed by him.
Okay,
that's the extent of my knowledge on it now, Tom.
Okay, right. Can I ask you for predictions, all?
You can't.
I can't.
Are you making a prediction?
Absolutely not. No. But we'll see. Drumculloch Bradford versus Galway, 3 p.m. on Saturday in Kilmallock. But before that, Rathkeil.
Now 3 p.m. because it was originally scheduled for 2 p.m. So will listeners and viewers please note it's on at 3 in Park Sean McCarroll to Kilmallock.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, and earlier in the day in Askeaton, 1 p.m. start for Rathkeil against Lahan, and Lahan quietly going about their business trying to book that place back up at senior, but Rathkeil, I'm sure, will be a formidable enough opponent. Rathkeil have been into the business end of this championship for 4 or 5 seasons now, I think.
Yeah, they have, and Mungret were very lucky to get by him in the semi-final last year by just 2 points, and it really set Mungret up for the final. Rathkeil, they're gunning to get back as well, and these teams met in the first round, Tom, and I think it was in Askeaton and played out a draw.
Yeah,
so
that's right. Yeah.
That augurs very, very well for Sunday or for Saturday even, and of course. This is Cahan's first year down after being 3 years up at senior level.
Yeah.
So Rathkeil have been very, very impressive in the group stages. I think they went through completely unbeaten, except that one draw with Cahan the first round. I think they got 4 straight wins after that. Now, Cahan had a bit of difficulty. I think they only picked up a point in the first 2. They drew with Rathkeil and lost to Galway, and after that they did their business of qualifying with 3 straight wins.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a very, very interesting semi-final. I find it very, very, very hard to call it.
Okay. Right.
Because I suppose more than most clubs, there seems to be a change in players in Clahan more than any other clubs, comings and goings.
Yeah.
And you never really know where they're at until you actually see them in action. And there's no doubt that they're going to be formidable. They're determined. Like you've 3 teams left in this competition that have been relegated in the last 5 years: Drumculloch, Bradford, Clahan, and Galway.
Yeah, Rathkeil weren't long outside that. Was it 6 years?
They weren't long outside that either.
Yeah.
So. It's going to be one hell of a battle for intermediate honours.
It is, yeah. Okay, and just to look down the grades, the Woodlands House Hotel Premier Junior A, the semi-finals. I can guarantee you, Matt, one thing on this podcast this week: a team from the West will win this competition, because you've Kappa versus Fina Kilmeedy, Monaghan versus Atay. I can stick my neck on the line there and say someone from the West will
10 marks
will
out
win.
of 10, Tom.
Yeah. Okay. So if Kappa and Fina Kilmeedy, Kappa and Fina Kilmeedy will meet in Ballingarry on Saturday at 1 p.m. At the same time on Sunday 1 p.m. of course, Monaghan against Atay. That's in Abbey Field. So we'll see who comes out in the shake-up in that one. And then in the Junior A Football Championship, we have one of the most local of derbies, Fedamore versus Camogie Rovers. Mianis against Fedamore, not a million miles at all from each other.
Not a game to be missed.
Yeah, that's actually been moved. It was originally down for Croom, but I think it's now been moved to Ratban with a 12 p.m. start, midday start on Sunday. And at the same time in the hospital, Ballylanders against Ahan. So Ahan with Gary Brennan in tow, and I'm sure the Morrisseys, I know they're involved in shinty action coming up, but they might be...
Sean Cronin, Ian Keatley, you can name them.
That's it, yeah. Star-studded team against Ballylanders, who have a star of their own, of course. Kieran O'Callaghan, still eligible, I think, Matt.
That's what I was going to say to you. You could be shocked.
Star of their own. Come on now. It was obvious. The listeners know what we were going with that one, yeah.
We have Calla.
Yeah, that's it. Still eligible, of course. The relegation playoff didn't count as playing in senior football as championship as such, so he's still eligible for that. And just to mention, this Wednesday evening, Ula and Knockadary meeting in one of the quarterfinals of the Woodlands House Hotel Junior B Championship.
Yeah,
St. Kieran's and Brewery in the semi-final on Sunday.
Just on that very one, Brewery beat Ballinacurra Gales last night in the quarterfinal 3-9 to 1-4. They will now face St. Kieran's in Drumcolor in the semi-final on Sunday at 4 p.m.
Yeah, and who's the other team? Is there another team in the semi-final in that one? Because Ula and Knockadary. Ula and Knockadary will face Mungret St. Paul's, the winner of Ula and Knockadary.
That may be on at the weekend now. I don't know. We'll wait and clap tonight.
Currently not on the fixtures though, because the opposition is not clarified. Okay, I think we've covered loads in the last 82 minutes at this stage, Matt. Anything else that you need to bring to our attention?
Yeah, no, just thank Mike Quaid for coming on and giving us a good insight as to, why his team are where they are, why they were crowned champions. And, I really think they have a good chance in the Munster Championship. I think they're a very, very good side.
Yeah, certainly are. And home advantage that hope will bring them through. Obviously, lost out to Scariff O'Gunlow, I think maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And were beaten by Sarsfield last year, both narrowly enough, in both games they felt they left behind them. So maybe third time lucky on that front.
Absolutely. And I think they have a real chance now. But we'll just wait and see.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Matt, thanks a million. Thanks to you, the listeners, and thanks to Mike earlier. We'll chat to you again next week on Treaty Talk.